As we find this lying down position on our back, let's just take a moment to notice how our body relaxes. Where does it relax? What position does it relax to? And how does it feel on the rest of our body? We feel our breath move in and out through our nose and our belly. Allow it to bring energy to our body as we breathe deeply, slowly. And bending our knees. Let's draw our knees into our chest, give them a hug. Let's rock side to side, letting our head and shoulders move with the rest of our body. Feeling core engagement as we rock side to side. Just gently massaging the back of our body and doing so with core stability. Come back to center, release our feet down to the floor. And then we're going to let our arms relax. And I want you to close your eyes so you can feel this movement rather than see this movement. On our next exhale, let's tuck our chin, lift our shoulders up off the floor, hug our belly in, start to tuck our tailbone, and lift our tailbone up to the ceiling. Keep our head down, but we're still engaging the front of our body. Then starting from our tailbone, we're going to lower our tailbone down, feel our low back return to a neutral position, soften the mid back, soften the upper back, shoulders relax down, and head softens to neutral. Now we're going to move the opposite direction. So I want you to push your tailbone down, lift your belly up towards the ceiling, then let your chest lift, push your shoulders down, and then lift your chin up. And then lower our chin, softening our head and neck, lower our chest, softening our upper back, lowering our belly, softening our mid back, and let our hips return to neutral. And we're going to repeat that, starting from the head this time, tucking our chin, lifting our shoulders, hug our belly in, tuck our tailbone, lower our tailbone, return our low back to neutral, softening our mid back, our upper back, and our neck. Then we're going to lift our chin. So we're going to move in the opposite direction. Open our chest, lift our chest up to the ceiling, lengthen across our belly, press our tailbone down, lifting our low back up off the mat. Starting from our tailbone, soften our hips to neutral, then our low back, then our mid back, then our upper back, and then our neck. And then we're going to continue to move from our head, so tucking our chin, lifting our shoulders, hugging our belly in, rounding our low back, lifting our tailbone. Try not to use your feet, your legs, let them be soft. And then lower our tailbone, softening our low back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, neck. One more time, lifting our chin, lengthen across the front of our neck, drive our shoulders into the floor, lift our chest, lift our belly, press our tailbone down. Again, legs stay soft, they're not working. It's just through the core of our body. Then return our hips to neutral, our low back to neutral, our mid back, our upper back, our neck, and soften. Draw our knees into our chest again. Give them a hug. And then we're going to roll to our right side. And then take our left hand, reach it up to the ceiling. Take our right hand, reach it out to the side. Lower our left elbow down to the floor, and then our left hand if it reaches. And then we're going to extend our bottom leg and let our left foot come behind our right knee. From this twist, we're going to lift our left hand up, then lift our shoulder, lifting our head, then reach our left foot back towards the front of our mat, and then we're going to sweep it back behind us as we take our left hand and reach it over to the right a little bit more. Now, while we do this, we're keeping our belly hugged in so that we're supporting our low back. And then slowly switch. So we're going to bend our elbow, our knee, lower our left shoulder down, and then our left arm, and listen to our low back and hips before you extend your leg. Maybe only extending it part way or all the way. Then bending our knee, lift our shoulder, reach our left hand over to the right and our left hand back behind us. And then slowly switch. Listening to our body as we extend, and then slowly bring it in and switch, and bring it in and switch, and in and switch, moving with core stability throughout this entire movement. How we move varies. So maybe we're engaging more through the belly in some of these movements and more through the back in some of these movements. The top hip should be reaching down towards our right foot, no matter which variation we're in, keeping space within the left side of our waist. Flow a few more times. Moving mindfully. And then we're going to meet up in our twist with our left shoulder on the floor and hold. Left foot behind our right knee. Then lift our left knee up and bend our right leg. Let's draw both knees into our chest. Give them a hug. Releasing our feet down to the mat, open our arms out like wings. Lift our hips, take them over to the right a couple inches, lower them down. Extend our left leg, lift our right foot, and then lift our right hip, tucking our right foot behind our left knee. So just a different approach to the same twist. Make sure the right hip is reaching forward towards our left foot. Just enough to keep our waistline even on both sides. Pausing, breathing. Then lift our right arm, right shoulder, right leg. Reach our right hand over to the left and our right foot back behind us. Then keeping our belly hugged in, we're switching. Taking it to your variation, only to what feels good for you. Continue to flow. And notice that the hips, generally speaking, are staying aligned. Right hip over the top of our left, so we're not taking it out of alignment. We're just extending our leg forward and back. Now, mid back up is where we're finding that rotation. So it should all be in the spine, not in the hips or the low back. Let's find one more time. Meeting up with our right shoulder on the floor and our right foot behind our left knee. Lowering our right hip down. Bend our left leg, lift our hips, bring them back to center, and then draw our knees into our chest and give them a hug. From here, let's come to a standing position and any variation that we choose. So any way you want to come up. Once we find our standing position, let's kind of rock forward and back on our feet, kind of exploring our weight in our feet. And then let our weight move side to side, one foot, then the other. Just exploring weight in our hips. Notice how that feels through our core, through our hips, through our low back. And then coming back to center, let's inhale, reach our hands up. Exhale, bend our knees, hinge forward from our hips and fold. Lift our tailbone up, drive our feet into the floor, let our head hang and our neck and shoulders relax. Then walk both feet back. Lower all the way down to our bellies. Releasing our feet, inhale, cobra, opening our heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving with core stability. Let our tailbone lift up, our hips soften towards our thighs. And walk forward in front of our mat. And fold. Bending our knees, rise all the way up. And hands come together in front of our heart. Releasing our hands to our side, let's step back to the center of our mat, finding a little bit of balance and a little bit of movement. Let's lift our right heel and feel the subtle shift of our weight to our left leg. So remember, we're not pushing our left hip off to the side. We're keeping it hugged in and stable as if we were standing up tall. Then lift our right foot. So we're just bending our knee. Now take one hand to our belly and one hand to our low back. And I want you to make sure that you're not moving very much through your spine. Take your right knee out in front of you and then kick your right leg back. Bring it forward, lifting up and drawing back. Coming forward and then back. All while keeping a stable core when we move our leg and balance on our left leg. Finding movement through the hip. Stability through the core. Stability through our left hip, left knee, left ankle, left foot. And put our foot down. We're going to switch sides. Lifting our left heel, we're just shifting our weight to our right leg. Hands come to belly and low back. Lift our left leg and then take it back, all while keeping our knee bent. Notice at which point you're no longer able to stabilize your spine. Find one more time. And then put our foot down. We're going to release our hands to our side. Then take our right foot, tap it in front. Lift our knee up, tap it in back. Lift our knee up, tap forward, and then tap back. We're opening and closing the front of our hip. Also opening and closing the back of our hip. So though it feels like the work's coming from our right hip, our left hip is doing a lot of work as well, stabilizing our movement and opening and closing. Come back to center and switch sides. Find one more time, step back and then forward, and then bring your foot underneath you. Step forward to the front of our mat. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Step our right foot back halfway. Then I want you to keep your front knee bent. Push your left foot into the floor, rise all the way up. Take our left hand to our hip, and then we're going to move with strength through the back of our body. So I want you to listen to the back of your body. If at any point it feels uncomfortable, you're going to shorten your right arm, meaning you're going to draw your elbow out to the side or bring your hand to your side. So you get to choose. Straighten your front leg. Hinge forward from our hip. We're drawing a flat back forward. Now again, if this creates a lot of tension in the low back, bend your elbow. If that doesn't solve the problem, hand comes to your side. Now from here, I want you to bend your front knee and then come up. Straighten your front leg, hinge forward from your hip and come forward, keeping that flat back. So we're never flattening our low back. Bend our front knee, push our foot into the mat, lift up. Straighten our leg. Hinge from our hips. Bend our front knee. Rise up, shoulders over hips, then straighten our leg. Again, hinge from the hips, flat back. Bend our knee, rise up, then straighten our front leg. Hinge from our hips, bend our front knee, lift our chest, straighten our front leg. One more time. Hinge from our hips, bend our front knee, lift our chest, straighten our front leg. Right hand comes to your side. Release your left hand from your hip. You're going to step forward, and then we're going to step our left foot back halfway. Right hand comes to our hip. Left hand reaches up, honoring your shoulder and your spine. Front leg straight, hinge forward from our hips, keep a flat back. Then bend our front knee, lift our chest, straighten our front leg. Hinge from our hips, bend our front knee, lift our chest, straighten our front leg. Hinge from our hips, bend our knee, lift our chest, and straighten our front leg. Hinge from our hips, bend our knee, lift our chest, straighten our front leg. One more time. Hinge from our hips, bend our knee, lift our chest, straighten our leg. Release our arms to our sides, step forward. From here, we're going to twist side to side, moving through the core of our body, keeping our lower body still, so it's creating a foundation for us. Come back to center. Step our right foot back. Actually, you're going to have the option, whichever version you can see the screen best. You're going to step back and pivot so that you can face your screen. So we're going to be facing the long edge of our mat. So whatever version, right foot, left foot, works best for you. From here, we're going to bend our right knee, shoot our hips back, keep a flat back, and then come back up. Bend our left knee, sink our hips back, keep a flat back, knee stays behind our toes. Come up. Option to add arms. Reach arms out as you bend your right knee and come back. Bend your left knee, reach your arms out and come back to center. Continue bending one knee at a time, reaching our hips back. Waking up the side of our hips and our upper back. Come back up and center. Heel toe our feet in. So heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. Just till our feet are about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to step our right foot out to the side, reach our left hand up and over. Right hand's just going to slide down our leg. Come back up, push through your right foot to come back to center. Left foot, step it out wide. Right hand, reach it up and over. Gaze can come up to the ceiling, down to the floor, or directly in front of you. So whatever works best for you. Bring our spine up to neutral first. Push off through our left foot to come back to center. Right foot out, left hand reaches up and over. Come back up, push off, come back to center. Left foot, right hand. Come back up and center, push off. Right foot out wide, left hand reaches up and over. And back to center, push off, come back to neutral. Left foot. And then back to center. Right foot, left hand. And back to center. Left foot, right hand. Back to center. Use the strength of your foot, ankle, calf to push off. Come back to center. And then we're going to shake out our hands, our arms, wiggle out our legs, move our core, shake our shoulders, our hips. Just kind of getting relaxed and ease within our body. And then come back to center, step forward to the front of our mat. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Lower our knees down to the mat one at a time. Crawl back to the center of our mat. Stack our joints, spread our fingers wide. And then we're going to rock our hips side to side, letting our shoulders move in the opposite direction. Come back to center, crawl forward, flip over onto our back, grab a hold of our blocks along the way. Placing our blocks on our right side, let's make sure they're handy. We're going to bend our knees, lift our left foot and cross our left ankle over our right thigh. Let our knee relax to a neutral position. So we're not pressing forward, we're not pulling in, we're just letting it relax neutral. Take one block of level 1 to your right hip and just a couple inches off of your hip. And we're gonna let our legs come over to the right, making sure they're not hitting the block, but that the block is lined up underneath your left leg and at its lowest level. Then you're gonna take your second block and you're going to place it in between your leg and the bottom block. And I want you to find a place that allows your leg to rest on the block with the block as close to your belly as possible for you. And then we're letting our leg just completely soften onto the block. Let our arms relax out. And we're softening our leg inside of our hip joint. Letting our breath soften. Let it move deeply through our belly. Letting go of all effort. And lifting our left knee up, hug our belly muscles in, lift our legs, and then put our left foot on the floor. And we're going to take our props over to our left hip. From this position, take your right foot, cross it over your left leg, and let it relax to neutral. And keep your blocks set up at about the same, but be aware that you may adjust. This side might be different. Lower our legs over to the left. And then set up the blocks underneath our right thigh, so the inside of our thigh. Supporting our leg as close to our hip as comfortable for you. And again, we're allowing our right hip to completely relax. You may feel a little bit of traction, whether the leg is moving up towards the ceiling or whether your leg is moving away from your hip. How you connect with that traction is really where you need it the most. Very slowly engaging our belly, hugging it in towards our spine. Lift our legs up. Put our right foot on the floor. We're going to place our blocks off to the side. And then we're going to take our left foot and cross our left ankle over our right thigh again. But this time I want your knee to come towards the midline of your body. And then we're going to lift our right leg and hug our left knee in a little bit more. Take our hands to the outside of our left leg, and you can keep your right leg lifted or you can lower it back down to the floor. We're just using our right leg to hug our left leg in. And then we're holding. Stretching through our glutes, a little bit to the low back, a little bit to the outside of our leg. And slowly release our left foot back down to the floor. Take our right foot, cross it over our left thigh, just about the middle, and let our right knee soften towards the midline of our body. And same thing, we're going to lift our left foot to help hug our right leg in, grab a hold of our right leg, and then you can let your left foot come back down. Keeping the knee hugging in towards the midline of our body, not just into our chest. So it's moving at kind of that 45-degree angle towards our left shoulder. Our shoulders should be able to relax down. And again, we're feeling that stretch to the outside of our leg, to the hip, maybe even into the low back a little bit. Very slowly release our right foot down to the floor. And then we're going to take our left ankle, place it on top of our right knee, but make sure your right knee is in line with your hip. Let your arms relax out. And we're going to look for some smooth movement, smooth, slow movement as we draw our left knee forward towards the front of our mat. And then draw our left knee up and in towards the midline of our body. Our right leg is staying stable. Our left knee is just moving. And we're looking for smooth movement, something that's not jerky. And this is working with our nervous system and how our leg moves within our hip. Attempting to keep it smooth, pausing when we need to, moving as slow as we need to. Encouraging a smooth pattern. Let's find one more time. And then let our left leg relax. We're going to put our left foot on the floor. Right ankle is going to rest on top of our left knee. And we're going to start from a neutral position and then press our right knee forward. So you're pivoting into external rotation through our hip. And then bringing our knee in towards the midline of our body. We're moving into internal rotation of our hip. And again, we're looking for a smooth movement pattern. So allowing the movement to remain slow so that we can keep it smooth. Left leg is creating a foundation on which we can move. Now let's bring our right leg to neutral. We're going to release our foot to the floor. And we're going to set up for Shavasana. So using any props you prefer to support your body. We're going to extend our legs out, turn our palms up, close our eyes, and allow our bodies to soften. Drawing our awareness back to our bodies. Let our breath begin to deepen. Bending our knees, removing any props that we have underneath us. And then we're going to extend our legs back out. Drive our heels into the floor as we flex our feet, and then start to reach your toes forward, feeling your hips tip forward, feeling length across the front of your belly. And then reach our arms back behind us and extend them back. So we're finding the full length of our body. And then soften. Bending our knees again. Let's roll over to our right side. Keeping our eyes closed, press ourselves up. And find our way back to a comfortable seat. Rising up tall through our spine. Feel our head pull back, our joints stacked. So ears over shoulders, shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips. And bring our hands together in front of our heart. Sealing in all that we found through this movement today. To this practice of mindfulness and movement. To the stillness, to the letting go. To the breath. To the flow that we feel within our body, the flow of energy. Take all of that as a gift that we can place in our hearts and take with us as we come off of our mat throughout the rest of our day and our days to come. Namaste.